Hello, welcome to my channel. My name's Emily and today I have for you a nice 45-minute slow yoga flow. So this is really great if you've had a really busy day and you just need to slow it down. Maybe you've had quite a stressful day and you just want to chill out and have a good stretch. And this is the flow for you today. So when you're ready, come join me on your mat and find a nice comfortable seated position. You can always prop yourself up on a block. You can sit with the legs crossed or on the knees. The spine is nice and tall and the shoulders roll down the back. We can rest the hands on the knees or together in the lap, slightly tucking the chin in and closing the eyes. And we'll take a nice deep breath in and out through the nose. And then just simply tuning your awareness to the natural rhythm of your breath. Observing the natural rise and fall of your inhales and exhales here. Just taking a moment to connect with our mind and body before we get stretchy. So just staying present with the natural rhythm of your breath here. Each time your mind wanders, come back to your breath. We can take a moment here to check in with your breath. Notice how your breath feels in your body today. Is it feeling a little bit tight, a little bit shallow, maybe restricted? Or maybe there's some room to breathe. The breath is flowing nice and deeply today. And keeping that in mind, noticing where in your body you're feeling your breath coming from. If the breath is a bit tight today, maybe we're feeling our breath in our chest. If the breath is nice and deep, maybe we're feeling our breath coming from our bellies. Or maybe our breath is somewhere else, or we're not quite sure how the breath is today, and that's okay. We're just trying to be present with our breath here. That's all we're aiming for. And then when you're ready, slowly blinking the eyes back open. And we'll get started seated. So we'll begin by syncing our movements with our breath. And we can take the hands down by either side. As we inhale, take the arms out and up and look up. Bringing the palms together, exhale, the hands come down in prayer. Great, so we'll do that again. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhaling, hands come down in prayer. Flowing with your breath, inhale, out and up. Exhaling. 2 more times, inhale. Exhaling. 1 more time, inhale, reaching. Exhaling. Coming back to our center. On our next inhale, we'll twist to the right. So the left hand comes to rest on that right knee and the right fingertips just gently come behind. And we're simply gazing over to the side of the room here. We're not quite looking behind the shoulder just yet. A nice deep breath, either breathing into our belly or connecting with our Ujjayi breath today, our ocean breath, where we restrict the muscles in the back of the throat. One more breath. Exhaling gently, coming back to our center. Inhale, twisting the other way. The right hand comes to the left knee, gazing to the side of the room. One more breath. Exhaling, coming back to our center. Placing the right palm out to the side with the elbow pointing in towards the hip. Inhale, sweep the left arm up and over. for a nice stretch down the left side of the body. And we're looking up under that arm. And we're nice and active with this left arm. We've not got a floppy noodle. We're nice and active, as though someone's pulling that left hand over to the right. One more breath. Exhale, we'll bring the left hand down. Inhale, sweep the right arm up and over. Feeling that nice stretch down your right side. One more breath. Exhaling gently, coming back to our center. We can then find our way into a child's pose. And we can take this child's pose however we like today. So we can either have the knees together or out wide to the edges of the mat. The arms can be extended. Maybe we make a pillow with the hands, so rest the forehead on. Or maybe we have the arms down by the sides. Again, just finding a comfortable variation for you to rest here for a few breaths. One more breath. On our next inhale, we can lengthen those arms back up the mats and come back up to your tabletop position. So we're on all fours. The hands are shoulder width apart, the knees are hip width. And we'll move through a few rounds of cat-cows. So on our inhale, we'll draw the belly down, lift the chest and chin up. Exhaling, pulling the belly in, rounding the spine, bringing the chin to the chest. Inhale, belly draws down, lift the chest and chin up. Exhaling, pulling the belly in, rounding the spine. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, rounding. Two more times. Inhale, lift. Exhaling, round. Last one. Inhale, waving up vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting the chest and chin. Exhaling from the sacrum, rounding the spine, chin to the chest. Inhale, coming back to your neutral tabletop. Then just walking the hands forwards, one pace. We can tuck those back toes under, hips back and up to our first downward facing dog. And we can paddle the feet here. Take your dog for a walk. Any nice little movements that feel nice for you in your body here in your downward facing dog. One more breath. On our next inhale, looking between the hands, we'll slowly walk the feet towards the hands. We can generously bend those knees and the feet come about hip width apart here. And we can let the arms and head hang in a ragdoll. A nice way to open up the whole back of the body here. And we can gently sway from side to side if that feels nice. Maybe holding on to the edges of the elbows. Maybe some gentle rocks of the head, yes and no, just to loosen up the neck. Or maybe stillness is plenty for you here in your ragdoll. One more breath. On our inhale, let the arms and head hang and roll up the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly coming all the way up to standing. Great. We'll then take the hands behind the head and interlace the fingers, cupping the head with the hands, tucking the elbows in. Exhale, we'll tuck the chin back in and slowly roll back down your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. When you folded forwards, generously bend the knees and lengthen the arms back down to the mat and let the head hang. Just taking a breath here. On our next exhale, generously bend those knees so we can plant the palms into the mat and step it back to your downward facing dog. We can paddle the feet again here. Then on our next exhale, gently bring the knees back down to the mat. Untuck the toes. We can then find our way down onto our forearms. We're spreading those fingers wide and just checking those elbows are shoulder width apart here. Tucking the toes back under, we'll inhale, lift the hips up to our dolphin pose. So we're building some strength in that upper body, building some strength in those shoulders, in the arms. And the chin is tucked into the chest here. We can have a generous bend in those knees just to take the pressure off the upper body. Otherwise, we can lengthen through those legs, reach the heels down to the mat, and keep pressing the forearms into the mat so that the chest comes through. Deep breaths, one more breath. Exhaling, we can gently bring those knees back down to the mat, untuck the toes, and again, we'll take it back to a child's pose. However you like your child's pose again here. We can maybe close the eyes and reconnect with your breath. Just taking a moment to rest here. On our next inhale, slowly finding your way back up to your tabletop position. And again, we'll tuck those toes under, lift the hips up to our downward facing dog for a breath. On our next inhale, lift up the left foot and step it between the hands, gently dropping the back knee down and untucking those toes. We can stay grounded through the fingers here, or maybe we can find our way up to rest on top of that left thigh. And again, we'll just rest here in our low lunge. We're squeezing those front toes into the mat, and we're pressing the top of the back foot into the mat as well. Those legs are engaged. We're strong here in our low lunge. Nice deep breath. One more breath. Exhaling, we'll bring those fingers back down to the mat if they're not already. And then we'll slide this back right knee to the outside of our left foot. So bend that right knee and bring it round to the outside of our left foot. So we have our left leg on top, coming into our Lord of the Fishes. We can always extend that right leg out if we have any hip or knee pain today. Otherwise, inhale, sit nice and tall through your spine. Exhale, twisting round to the left, hooking onto that leg and gently gazing back behind your shoulder and feeling that nice juicy twist in your spine. One more breath. Exhaling, we can gently come back to our center. We can then just bring both the knees round to one side, finding your way back to your downward facing dog. Taking a moment to paddle out your feet here. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So we can inhale, lift up that right foot, stepping it between the hands and gently dropping that back knee down, untucking those toes. And again, either grounding down through those fingertips or coming up to rest on top of that right thigh in our low lunge. And again, we are pressing those toes of the front foot into the mat. We're pressing the top of the foot of our left foot into that mat. Those thighs are engaged and the belly and ribs are pulling in. Nice deep breath. Remembering it's not about how we look in these asanas that we practice, it's really about how we feel. So don't worry if your lunge is all the way up here maybe. It does not matter at all how we look in these asanas. It's all about how you feel. And hopefully we feel good right now. Hopefully we feel that beautiful stretch in that left hip, maybe in that thigh a little. One more breath. Exhaling, we can bring those fingertips down to the mat. Then inhaling, we'll bend that left knee and slide it to the outside of your right foot. Again, coming back to our Lord of the Fishes. We can always extend that left leg again if we had the right leg extended, just to take the pressure off the hip and knee if we need. Inhaling, sitting nice and tall. Exhaling, twisting round to the right. Looking back behind your shoulder. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. Exhaling, we can gently find our way back to our center. This time we'll just unbind the legs so we come to sit on the sit bones. And we'll bend both of the knees so that the soles of the feet come to the mat. And we'll challenge our core here with a boat pose. So just slightly tipping your weight back so we find that balancing point on our sacrum. We can maybe hold onto the backs of the knees with the hands to begin. And one by one, we'll lift up the toes of the left foot, bringing that leg parallel to the mat. Maybe this is as far as we go. Maybe we can bring that right foot in line with the left leg. And again, we can keep holding onto the backs of those knees, or we can bring the arms in line with those legs. Ooh, nice strong core. Maybe we're beginning to shake already. So we'll deepen that breath. Keep reaching that chest through. Just a couple more breaths. You got this. One more breath. Exhaling, we can gently bring those toes back down to the mat. Great. Then bringing the hands about one pace behind you. So we have about a hand's distance from our sit bones. We can lengthen the legs down to the mat. And we can have the fingers pointing in towards the top of our mat. On our inhale, we'll lift up the hips, coming into our Eastern Intense Stretch pose. So we can keep the chin tucked into the chest here. Maybe those toes come all the way down to the mat. If it feels nice in the neck, we can gently, with control, drop the head back for a nice stretch all the way in the front of that body. Keep lifting those hips up high. Keep pressing those toes into the mat. Strong legs. One more breath. Exhaling, bringing your chin to the chest, and then slowly with control, lowering those hips back down to your mats. Great. We can then just help ourselves coming down to lie on our back. So just casually helping yourself down to lying. And then hugging both the knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Maybe rock from side to side to massage the back. Maybe some little flex points of the toes to stretch out the feet and the ankles. And then gently bringing the soles of the feet back down onto the mat so that the knees are bent and the feet are about hip width apart here. We'll tuck the shoulders underneath and planting the palms and feet into the mat. On our inhale, rolling up the spine vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting the pelvis up into our bridge pose. Keeping that chin tucked in towards the chest. And we're pressing the feet into the mat so that we lift those hips up nice and high. So we're strengthening in those thighs and in those hips. Opening up the chest and shoulders. And a little bit of a back bend here as well. One more breath. Exhaling, slowly rolling back down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Hugging both the knees back into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Maybe a little rock from side to side again here. And then bringing the soles of the feet back down onto the mat again. The knees are together this time. On our exhale, we'll gently let the knees fall out to the sides, coming into our supine bound angle. A nice opening for the hips here. And we can rest those hands on the inner thighs. We can maybe rest one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart space. Or maybe the arms down by the sides. Again, whatever's nice and comfortable for you here, so we can rest comfortably for a few breaths. One more breath. On your next inhale, use the hands to gently guide the knees back together. We can then hug them both back into our chest again. Give yourself a nice hug. And then from here, we'll keep the right knee into the chest. We can extend the left leg down. We'll come into a supine twist. So we can take that right knee over to the left side. The lower back comes off the mat, but we're still grounding down through those shoulder blades. Extending the right arm out to the side and gazing over to our right side as well. And just resting here, feeling that sweet, sweet release in your lower back. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. Exhaling, we can gently roll back to our center. Hug both the knees into your chest again. Give yourself a nice hug, maybe a quick rock from side to side. And then keeping the left knee into the chest, we can extend that right leg down to the mats. Taking that left knee over to the right side, lower back comes off the mat, but we're grounding down through those shoulders. Extending the left arm out and gazing over to our left side. And feeling that nice release in your lower back. One more breath. Exhaling, we can gently roll back to our center, hug both the knees into your chest again, giving yourself a nice hug. And then this time we'll extend both the arms out to the side and we'll come into a double leg twist. So using your core and exhale, let both the knees gently fall over to the left side. Maybe those toes come to rest on the ground. Maybe the knees come to rest as well. If we're hovering in the air, that's absolutely fine. You can always place a block under those knees for some support. Gazing over to the right side. And feeling that deepen twist in your spine. Maybe we feel a stretch across the front of the body here as well. One more breath. Using your exhale and your core, bring those knees back to your center. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale, gently let both the knees fall over to the right side. That lower back comes off the mat. We're still grounding down through our shoulder blades. And gazing over to our left side. And again, just resting here. Relaxing into this twist. One more breath. Using your exhale and your core, bring those knees back to your center. Give yourself a nice, generous hug. Maybe rock from side to side again. Any nice little movements for you here. Then keeping your knees into your chest, reach the feet up into the sky. And we can either hold onto the backs of the knees here, the backs of the calves, or even the sides of the feet. We'll bring the knees out to the sides of our body and gently pull the knees in towards your armpits, coming into a happy baby. A beautiful stretch for the pelvis and a release in that back again. And we can either find stillness here or we can gently rock from side to side again. Maybe treat yourself to a little smile here. Maybe we feel a little bit silly in this one. And just remembering to enjoy your practice. And again, it's really not about how we look in these asanas. It's about how we feel. And hopefully this happy baby brings us a bit of joy today. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. Exhaling, we can gently hug those knees into your chest again. Give yourself one last nice hug. Maybe one last little rock side to side, flex point of those toes. Any last little movements for you here. And then we can extend both the legs down to the mat. We can come into our Shavasana. So there's some space between the legs. The feet fall out to the sides. There's some space between the arms and the sides of the body. Palms are facing up and the fingers come to their natural curl. The chin tucks into the chest and we can close the eyes. And we'll begin with a nice deep breath in and out through the nose. Tuning your awareness back to the natural rhythm of your breath. Just observing the natural rise and fall of your inhales and exhales here. And taking a moment here to check back in with your breath. Notice any changes you may feel in your breath and your body compared to the beginning of the video. Maybe at the start our breath was quite tight and in the chest. Maybe now the breath feels nice and deep and in our bellies. Or maybe our breath is still somewhere else, or we're not quite sure how it's feeling, and that's okay. We're just aiming to be present with our breath here. That's all we need. And then taking a moment here to shift your awareness into your physical body and notice where you're holding tension. Maybe you're gripping in the thighs, hunching in the shoulders, pressing the head into the mat. Wherever there's tension in your body, breathe into that space and let go. Allow your whole body to soften and relax. Imagining your breath swirling all around that tension as you inhale. And as you exhale, breathing away all that tension. Softening the face, unclenching the jaw, and allowing your tongue to fall from the roof of the mouth. Our whole bodies are completely relaxed. When you feel nice and soft in your muscles, gently bring your awareness back to the natural rhythm of your breath and try and stay focused here. Each time your mind wanders or gets chatty, bring yourself back to the natural rhythm of your breath. We can then gently start to deepen our inhales and exhales. We can begin to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, maybe gently rock the head from side to side. We're just waking the body back up. And then with your eyes still closed, really slowly and mindfully, bring yourself to lying on either the left or right side of your body, whichever side is calling to you today. Coming into a little fetal position, the knees are bent. We can make a pillow with the hands to rest our head on. And we'll just take a moment here. And then with your eyes still closed, really slowly and mindfully, help yourself find your way back to sitting comfortably. Nice, slow, staggered movements, just casually coming back up to sitting. And however we like to sit, the spine is nice and tall. We can roll the shoulders down the back. Hands rest on the knees or together in the lap. The chin is tucked in, eyes are still closed. Awareness still with your breath. And taking a moment here to include some gratitude into our practice today. Taking a moment to be grateful towards yourself for taking the time out of your day to practice some yoga. Take a moment to be grateful for your mind and your body. Just remembering to appreciate yourself here. Be grateful for your uniqueness. There's no one else in the world quite like you. So just remembering to appreciate yourself here. And anything else in your day-to-day or maybe in your life that you may feel particularly grateful for. Whatever it is, just find there's something extra to have an attitude of gratitude towards. We can then take a nice deep breath in and out through the nose. Releasing that gratefulness out into the universe. We can then bring the hands together in prayer in front of the chest and bow the head down. And then gently and in your own time, slowly blinking the eyes back open and lifting the head. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that little flow. If you did, please like the video and save for later. Maybe leave me a little comment in the comment section below. And please subscribe to my channel for more free yoga content. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you next time. Namaste.